You guys gotta remember that whenever you're trying to integrate ln x, you gotta use by parts. And I'm gonna show you guys how you're gonna do that. So let's say you have something that looks like this and you're supposed to be integrating the ln x. Or let's say you're supposed to be integrating, let's say something that's like 2 ln x. You got your dx and then you got this 3. And this thing is the same as this thing because you just gotta realize that part right there is a constant, and so you can just drag it out of the integral. At other times you're going to have something that looks like perhaps this, where you got ln 2x dx. This is integratable in the same way as this. All you got to do is you got to apply u sub on this, right? So you got to apply u sub on this thing to turn it into this thing, and then I'll show you guys how to integrate this thing. So what you got to do is basically that 2, you're going to make that 2x your u, and then this thing is going to become your du, and then etc. etc. You're going to do that. Basically you're going to end up with something that's going to be like ln u du, and then we're going to be integrating that in the same way as we're going to be integrating this, right? So all of these ln integrals are going to be integrated in this in the same way, okay? And that way is basically by applying by parts. So what you do is basically you add a 1 next to the ln. It's basically 1 times ln x dx, and there's nothing wrong with doing this, because of course you can write let's say x is the same as 1 multiplied by x, right? Tan x is the same as 1 multiplied by tan x. It doesn't make a difference. So ln x is basically the same thing as 1 multiplied by ln x. So you're going to do this, and for this step you have to be really careful. You want to differentiate the ln x, okay? So that is what you are going to be differentiating. And so since you're differentiating that, this is going to become your f of x, and you want to integrate the 1. And so the 1 is basically going to become g prime of x. Okay, and I'm just going to write what f of x is. F of x is basically ln x. F prime of x is basically 1 over x. And so g prime of x is basically 1. When you integrate 1, you're basically going to get x. Okay, and now you can go ahead and apply the formula, and that formula is basically going to be f of x times g of x. So that's going to be x multiplied by ln x, and then it's minus the integration of f prime of x multiplied by g of x dx. Okay, and you can kind of go ahead and see that this x is going to cancel out with that x. So all you're going to be left with is this thing. And what's the integration of 1? Well, it's just going to be x. And of course, since you've completed it, don't forget your plus c at the end, because this thing over here was an indefinite integral. It didn't have limits on it, so don't forget that plus c. And this is going to be your final answer. So this is how you integrate ln's.